of the first-place MVP votes during his career. That number pales in comparison to Michael Jordan's share of nearly 36%. Shannon, how do you even handle this? What does it tell you?
Well, it tells me LeBron should have more than 4 MVPs. But I think the thing is now, I think the players have gotten better. They're more skilled now. And it's just not... Skip, you have to understand, prior to the 80-81 season, the players selected the MVP. So Dr. J was the first guy to win the MVP in which the media selected. Prior to that, from I think 55, 56 was the first year it was given out, the players, you voted for your peers, and that's who you got the MVP. Hence, Wilt scores 50 and 25, and he doesn't win. He averages 44 and 27, and he finishes 7th in the MVP voting. But for me, Skip, I guess the media thought that Michael Jordan deserved to be, I guess he should have won more MVPs also.
Yep.
Skip, because if you look at it, LeBron he won 4 out of 5. So, you know, he won 9, he went 8, 9, 9, 10, and missed 11, and he went 12, 13, 13, 14. But you figure Steph Curry wins it unanimous, so nobody got to see the first place vote, so he garners all the first place votes. Look, I don't want to look too much into it. I think both have had great. LeBron won 4 out of 5. Jordan won 2 out of 3 in each of the three-peats. But for the most part, Skip, and this is not to knock anybody, but I just believe the players are more skilled now, and the likelihood, because you look at Jordan in the 80s, Magic and Bird had the MVP on lock. I mean, you know, Dr. J won it in the 80, Moses Malone won it in the next 2 years, and then Bird 3, and then 3 out of the next 4 years, it was Magic. So for me, Skip, I don't want to put too much into it. It just tells me, I guess, if you want to put it down in a nutshell, I guess the media members that were voting thought Michael Jordan deserved to be MVP, and they gave him more first-place votes than what they gave LeBron. But I believe that both players should have more MVPs than what they have. So nothing more, nothing less. But I know for certain LeBron James should have more than 4 MVPs. You know that. I know that.
Jordan should have had at least 10.
Man, see, there you go. Why you got to go overboard with it? Why you can't say 6? Okay, Jordan should have maybe 6 or 7. Why you got to go all the way to 10? You always got to be on a 10. That's the 10. You always on a 10.
I lived through that era. I covered through that era. And it was unquestionably Michael Jordan's league. It was just case closed. He was the man. He owned basketball. Magic knew it the first time he saw him. Bird knew it the first time he saw him, up close and personal, when he scored 63 in the game number 1. They got swept, but he scored 63 in overtime. And Bird said after the game, that was God disguised as Michael Jordan. They could just see what was happening because he had the physical and the mental. They could see cold-blooded killer on the basketball court. They could see force of nature. The media could see it and feel it to the point of awe where everybody just knew he's the man. There was, obviously, as we went past Magic and Bird, then we had Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing. We had Malone and Stockton, and I could go on, but they paled in comparison.
Right.
He marginalized some great players.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely.
They were great players. They put up incredible numbers, but they all lived in the shadow of that one guy. So the media didn't love him because he wasn't the greatest with the media, the way LeBron's just great with the media. He's much more quotable and sort of accessible, and LeBron gives you so much of who he is. And Michael didn't always do that. He did what was required of him, but that was all.
Right.
And he didn't often open up. And because of that, his mystique ran a little hotter and higher than LeBron's does because the media was in fear of him in a good way, like he was something else, like he was extraterrestrial. He wasn't quite what the rest of us were. he was something we'd never seen before. So it doesn't surprise me at all because he only really played 13 years up through the last year in Chicago. Then he took 3 off and came back for 2 ceremonial years in Washington. You can criticize them and condemn them all you want, and you're correct. He just did it because he wanted to do it. He just wanted a last hurrah just for fun, and it wasn't that pleasant to watch.
But
so
Skip,
I just take 13 versus LeBron's 17 years.
But Skip, we have to admit, there was no Kevin Durant playing in the 80s and 90s. There were no Anthony Davis. The 6'10" guys that can do. There was no Dirk Nowitzki's. There was none of that. So you have to look at it. There was no James Harden. There was no Steph Curry revolutionizing the game. That's what LeBron James, that's the era in which he's up against. Because you have to understand, when LeBron got into the league, there was still Shaq and Kobe, even though it's for 1 year. I think it's for 1 year. And then you had the Kobe. And then you had the Steve Nash. And so once he got his feet wet, he dominated.
Okay, but I got to defend those years. Magic was a unicorn. I've just never seen anything like him before. He's the second greatest player I ever saw. He was 6'9", and he could just dominate games with his will and his spirit and his talent and physicality, because he was a powerful 6'9".
Skip, but I think we have to agree, the players are more skilled now. Skip, think about it. Kevin Durant is 7 foot tall.
Okay.
And he's shooting the ball like a 6'6" or 6'7" guy.
Okay, I got it.
Handle the ball like that. Look at Anthony Davis. Guys, Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant, they were 4s and 5s. They played with their back against the basket.
The game has evolved.
Yes.
These young, tall players are being encouraged to play like guards.
Yes.
Okay, I got that.
That's what LeBron is up against. Steph Curry. I mean, Steph Curry is made more threes in a season than probably the whole NBA did when they instituted the three-point shot in '79.
Okay, but Larry Bird, your favorite player
He was.
He was a unicorn.
Yes.
He was 6 feet 9 inches tall, and he shot the ball so far back behind his head, it was unblockable.
Yes.
And you want to talk about skill level? You want to talk about passing and creating and stealing and disrupting on defense and shooting the lights out?
Yes.
Taking over a team, taking over a game, leadership, winning intangibles. It's just extraordinary what he had. So you can't tell me anybody's more skilled than Larry Bird was.
Skip, you're talking about 6'9". Kevin Durant is doing everything Larry Bird is doing, can put it on the floor better than Larry, and shoot just as good. So, and he's 7 foot tall. Anthony Davis is 6'10" and a half.
He is. But when you talk about killer intangibles like basketball assassins, if you put Magic and Bird in their prime in today's game, their intangibles would rise above the ones that we have today.
The court is so open. Yeah, they're going to have, there's no hand checking. the hard fouling and things of that nature. Yes, I'm not saying that these guys couldn't succeed, couldn't thrive in this era. But when you talk about guys that, Kevin Durant, who's blocking that shot, Skip? Dude 7 foot tall, shooting it at a 9 foot apex. You talk about this jump shot that Anthony Davis shot. That's Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's taller than Anthony Davis.
Okay, but Charles Barkley continues to say on TNT, Anthony Davis wasn't born with a killer mentality.
I can't tell.
Well, he made a shot the other night, and he shot it like he meant it, and I will